YouTube, what's up? Welcome back to a new video. If this is your first time here on the channel, thanks so much for stopping by. Definitely check out some of my other videos, and if you like what you see, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. It's pickups time, y'all. It's well overdue. I usually do pickups videos, usually like every 2 months or so. But the last time I did a pickups video was back in June, so it's been about 4 months or so. Yeah, I got some games to share with you. So I'm going to go over all the stuff that I picked up throughout July, August, September, and October. Let's get into it. So the one thing that I do have to share with you that's not a video game is actually video game related, of course. It's a book. It's called Video Game of the Year. It's actually called Video Game of the Year, a year-by-year guide to the best, boldest, and most bizarre games from every year since 1977. And it's written by Jordan Miner. I gotta say, off the break, I love the presentation of this book. I mean, the cover alone is beautiful to me. Love these colors. But yeah, it's basically what it sounds like. Jordan took the best, boldest, most bizarre, the most influential games of the year that they came out, and starting in 1977, and kind of like just tells us the best game of each year. And I'll give you an example. I was born in 1980. Might be aging myself a little bit here, but that's okay. That's okay. The video game of 1980 is Pac-Man, and look at that art. I love that. Each year has really awesome art. It's really well written, and other video game journalists from around the industry also contribute to this book. If you're looking for something really good to read that's related to video games and informative, definitely check this one out. So to make things a little bit easier for me, and I'm sure for you, I do have two separate piles here. One pile are games that I haven't played yet. Got majority of these games on sale, and it's not a big pile. Again, 4 months, right? 4 months of video game buying. And then I also have another pile here of games that I have played and I can give you some impressions on. So I'm going to quickly go through the games that I haven't touched yet. And we'll start off with Taito Milestones. I'm a sucker for a collection game. You know what I'm saying? Anything that has a collection of games that I totally remember back in the day, I'm a fan of. Taito, as far as the arcade games, those games are classic. This one has 8 different arcade Taito games. The reason why I purchased this, I got it for, again, less than $10. Reason why I got it is because of elevator action alone. Like, who doesn't love elevator action? Spent a lot of quarters on that one. And then the Ninja Warriors is on here as well, and Alpine Ski. So yeah, Taito Milestones. I think there's another version of this, but I could be wrong. GameStop had that sale not too long ago, and I did pick up 2 games from that. Moon Scars, which is a Metroidvania, looks really, really good. And I also got The Night Witch, which is a shmup or shoot 'em up Metroidvania, which sounds super different, but I'm intrigued, so I definitely want to check this one out soon. Lord Winklebottom Investigates, which is a crazy title for a video game. It looks wacky. It's a point and click adventure, but it seems like it's something right up my alley. My last video, I talked about some scary games that I feel like you should play, and I was enjoying before Halloween. And one of the games that I mentioned was The House of Fata Morgana, which I am currently still reading and am loving to pieces. So I'm kind of like on a visual novel kick. I've never really been one that's been into like visual novels and just straight reading a game. It sounds crazy, but yeah. But I saw this and I was like, oh, this is cool. It is Vampire the Masquerade, the New York bundle, which includes 2 visual novels in the universe of Vampire the Masquerade. It includes Coteries of New York and also Shadows of New York. These are 2, I always see them on sale on the eShop, and I always have them I've had them on my wish list. But yeah, really cool that it came out, it's a physical edition. Also did pick up Inescapable, No Rules, No Escape, which seems to have like a Danganronpa vibe to it, which I enjoyed those games. So this was a day one for me. Master Detective Archives, Rain Code, which again, another game that kind of has that Danganronpa feel to it, except I feel like there's more of an investigative side to this game, and it's supposed to have a cool story. So yeah, I'll get around to it before the end of the year. And the last game that I want to share with you that I haven't played yet came out pretty recent. It's the Metal Gear Solid Master Collection 1. So this is the first collection of maybe many, I don't know. But this has Metal Gear Solid. It has Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty, and Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater. I have played all three of these games, and they're great Metal Gear games. Out of this collection, I'd probably say that Metal Gear Solid 3, gasp, is my favorite. I love Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. There's just something about that game. And the other two are great too, but Metal Gear Solid 3 is definitely my favorite in this collection. It also comes with the original Metal Gear, which I remember my cousins and my brother playing the hell out of back on the Nintendo Entertainment System. Is weird that I said that all the way through the NES back in the game. And I think there's another Metal Gear, an old Metal Gear game that comes in this collection. But yeah, it's going to be nice to revisit these games somewhere down the line. I don't know how well they run on the Nintendo Switch, but I'm a sucker for it anytime games like this come out on the Nintendo Switch. I feel like I gotta get it on the Switch just because, makes more sense for me. As far as the games that I've had a chance to play, I did pick up Red Dead Redemption for the Nintendo Switch, which is super weird. I love when these Rockstar games come to the Switch, right? To any Nintendo system. I think it's totally awesome. Red Dead Redemption is a great, fantastic game. Played it back on the 360 back in the day. I got this from Best Buy a week early, a week before release, and I saw it on the shelves. I was at Best Buy with my mom. She was purchasing a camera, looking for a camera, and I was like I tend to do when I go to like Target or Best Buy, I'm like, let me go look in the video game section. And usually, selection is kind of sparse. But I saw this there and I was like, that's out early. So I picked it up, didn't think that when I took it to the register, it was going to go through. I thought they were going to tell me, oh, you can't buy this till next Friday. Oh no, it went through and I got it a week early. I started playing Undead Nightmare because I never played that back in the day. And it runs really well on the Switch. Surprisingly, it does. It runs a lot better than what that GTA trilogy did when it first came out. So Red Dead Redemption on the Nintendo Switch. Now, are they going to get Red Dead 2 on the Switch? I highly doubt it, but it's cool to see this particular game on a Nintendo system. Disney Illusion Island, I got this when it released back in July, and I have played through and completed it and really enjoyed my time with it. It's basically a Disney, like Mickey Metroidvania, if you want to call it that. It's a platformer, but of course, again, you do have some Metroidvania elements in there. You need certain items to move on, so you have to go back and backtrack through the map, but you can play as either Mickey, Minnie, Donald, or Goofy. It was fun. It's beautiful looking Switch game, and I thought the writing was kind of funny. I did stream this and I remember laughing a lot when I was playing it. Silent Hope, this is the day one edition. I'm enjoying it. This is a dungeon crawler hack and slash of sorts, roguelike, I don't know, it's one of those. Basically you have seven silent characters, protagonists, if you will, that you can switch and choose between. And you have like your hub area, right? And in your hub area, you can craft weapons, you can do a little cooking, you can farm, whatever the stuff that you find when you're deep into the abyss, which are the levels. When you're down in the abyss, you can bring stuff back to your hub area and you can like plant corn or wheat or whatever it is. You can, harvest eggs, all types of stuff, and use those items to cook. So you have meals when you go into the abyss, right? So you have these 7 protagonists you can pick between, and you basically go down into the abyss, and you're hacking and slashing your way through these levels. I'm gonna be honest, this is like if Basic Bitch were a video game. This is probably the most basic bitch, and I say that in a nice way. You know what I'm saying? It's super basic. Doesn't stand out by any means, but it's addictive as all hell. Character has a different class. You got like brawlers, you have an archer, you have a sword fighter. So yeah, there's 7 different characters, but they're all silent and they don't have any personality. But the combat is fun. The levels are procedurally generated, which is cool. You can also go into different sections of a level if it's there, and it's kind of like a challenge section, and it is a little challenging. I'm not even gonna front. I've died a couple times in those challenge sections because the enemies hit a whole lot harder and they're brutal. But I have enjoyed the slow burn of Silent Hope. It's really weird. I'll play it and have like a YouTube video on or listening to a podcast or music, and just kind of like vibe out. When it comes to the story, I have no clue of what's going on. Who knows? Just enjoying like going deep and seeing how far I can get in the abyss, how deep I can get before I either die or make my way out. Pikmin 4, I love this game. This game just brings a smile to my face. Like I thoroughly enjoyed my time with Pikmin 4. I completed it, saw the credits roll, and then went back and did a little bit more to try to do like the post-game stuff. That's how much I enjoyed the game. It didn't last that long, but it's there. So when I get that itch to play a Pikmin game, I can go back to it. I've said before, I'm not a big fan of the Pikmin series, despite me loving the art style and the overall gameplay and just like the cute Pikmin, right? Because who can resist those? But this game just did it for me. And it's because of the fact that there aren't any time restrictions on the game like the previous Pikmin games, right? That stressed me out to all hell. I'm bad at managing time. I mean, actually, I'm not bad, but like, I'm not the best at managing time. And if I have to do it in a video game, you might as well forget it, right? It just stresses me out. It's too much to have to work under time constraints or restraints, right? So, yeah, Pikmin 4 throws all that out the window and it's a really good time. I had a lot of fun with it. The dog is cute as all hell. This was the perfect plane game for me. This came out around the time that I went with my husband to Niagara Falls, and I played this in the airport and played it on the plane and played it in the hotel room when we weren't, out and about. So yeah, Pikmin 4, really good game. On my list of favorite games from this year. Fae Farm. So this is one of those cozy farming simulator games, right? That everyone goes gaga over. Fae Farm, definitely. I haven't played a whole bunch of Fae Farm, and I will get back into it, but Fae Farm seems to be a little bit different than any other cozy farming sim that I've played, just because it seems to focus heavily on the narrative, which is it was a little off-putting to me. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so story driven, which was strange, at least in the beginning of the game. And there's chapters in this game, which is weird too. But it's your basic farming simulator, cozy style game. Two things I want to say about Fae Farm. One, the first one's a little negative, and I will say I absolutely hate the fishing in Fae Farm. The fishing mechanic is probably the worst fishing mechanic I've ever experienced. I'm just not a fan of the fishing, and maybe I need to play more of it to get the gist of it. But the fishing just doesn't feel good in this game. It's weird. And then two, I really appreciate the fact that this game, respects your time for the most part when it comes to you doing your basic task. Okay. So, and I think someone was telling me that other farming sims are starting to do this. But let's say you're on your farm and you are going to plant some seeds, right? The game like automatically you go to your patch of ground where you're gonna hoe, you need to hoe, right? The soil. So you can literally go right there and the game automatically knows that you need to, as long as you have the weapon, as long as you have your hoe in your inventory, the game's automatically gonna hoe the soil for you, right? Or whatever it is. And then they'll automatically plant your seeds. And then, you know, if you're standing there, it knows that you need to water it. It just makes things go by so much faster. And I definitely appreciate the fact that Fae Farm respects my time. I love that. The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trail. This was a blast. I played through this and completed it. Really enjoyed it. It's a Falcom joint. If you're familiar with Ease, it plays very similar to Ease. Very similar to Ease. Not as smooth, but it's there. This originally was a PSP game from back in the day. I don't know if it came out here in the States, but definitely in Japan. The story is good. The characters are cool. The boss fights are great. But yeah, definitely a good time. This one's a little chatty, but that's okay. It's definitely worth it because the combat is just so dang fun. If you're looking for something to scratch like your ease itch, this is probably it. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. I hate the fact that Bros is in this title. I just feel like it should be Super Mario Wonder, but whatever. Super Mario Bros. Wonder. This is a fantastic 2D Mario game. Now, I done already told you that I was born in 1980, right? So I totally remember when the Nintendo, okay, hit the scene and everyone was going goo goo gaga for video games. And because of that, I am a little biased to a 2D Mario as opposed to a 3D Mario. You could give me a 2D Mario over a 3D Mario anytime, and I'll take that 2D Mario. Now, that's no shade to 3D Mario. Okay, I enjoy a great Mario Galaxy. You know, Sunshine's pretty cool. Odyssey is fantastic. I'm not even gonna shout out 64 Mario 64 because I still haven't finished that game because the controls freaking suck. Yes, I said it. The controls suck in Mario 64. But Mario Wonder is great. I didn't really pay attention to anything when it came to this game, any of the previews, because I already knew I was going to pick it up. I mean, it's a Mario game. And it's a 2D Mario game. So I'm like, I'm sold. It's good. The Wonder sections are phenomenal. Definitely love the way it just changes the whole dynamic of the level. And then, of course, you have those wonder seeds that you have to find. You also have purple coins in this game. Each level has 3. For the most part, each level has 3. There's even like an online aspect to this game that I actually really like too. Yeah, this is a great game. It's beautiful. One of my favorite games of 2023, without a doubt. Assassin's Creed Mirage. I got this for the PlayStation 5. This is Assassin's Creed going back to the basics. I actually really liked the first Assassin's Creed game. I know a lot of people weren't really hot on it, but I enjoyed the very first Assassin's Creed game. And this is kind of like where it's taking you back to those first couple of games. You know, it's not the big open world 100-hour plus RPG that Valhalla was. I actually need to one of these days go back to Valhalla. I only played like, I want to say 15 hours of it. And if any of you guys out there have played Valhalla, you know that 15 hours is like a drop in the bucket. That's absolutely nothing in that game. Those games started becoming too overwhelming. And while I love them, it's just a lot. There's a lot. And for me, it just became too overwhelming. You see all the stuff on the map and I feel obligated that I need to go and get everything and do everything. And then it takes me 1,000 years to finish it, right? But not Mirage. Not Mirage. It's set in Baghdad, which is cool. Nice Middle Eastern environment setting. And then you play as Bassam, I believe his name was. I don't know. It's been like 2 weeks since I played it. Not even gonna lie, because another game came out and I started playing that. But I believe his name is Bassam. Yeah. And he's a character from Valhalla, apparently. I didn't know that. Like, because like I just told you, I only played like 20 hours of Valhalla. But he has his own story. I like him as a character. But yeah, it's back to the basics of Assassin's Creed, which felt a little weird when I started playing it because even the parkour felt old school as opposed to what I remembered in like or Assassin's Creed Origins or Odyssey, right? And in Valhalla, it definitely felt a little archaic, but not in a bad way. I just remember, I remember that from back in the day with the first couple of Assassin's Creed games. But good stuff. When I'm done, one of these other games I'm going to show you, I definitely will go back to this and complete it. There's no physical version of Alan Wake 2 at the moment, but I did purchase on my Xbox Series X Alan Wake 2, and I think it's a fantastic game. I'm enjoying the hell out of Alan Wake 2. I don't want to go too deep in the whole premise of the game because it is super narrative heavy, you know what I'm saying? It's based all around this crazy Remedy universe, and if you played any of the other Remedy games, like you'll see some things in there you're like, oh my gosh, I remember that. It's nuts. But Alan Wake 2 is definitely more of a survival horror game than the first Alan Wake game. I gotta be honest, not the biggest fan of the combat in Alan Wake 2. And I kind of knew that was going to be the case because I wasn't the biggest fan of the combat in the first game either. But without giving too much away, I could just tell you off the break, you play as two different characters. Of course, you play as Alan Wake, the author, and you play as Saga, who is a female, and she's an FBI agent. And the crazy thing about this game is that Saga is like in not modern day, but she's like in the present, while Alan, I don't even want to say if it's in the present. They're in two different worlds, which is weird. And Alan Wake is in like the dark side. It's crazy, but I really like it, and it's freaking scary. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm legit kind of scared to play this game in the dark just because the sound design is so good in this game. Like, sometimes when you're playing as Alan, you'll see the shadows, and they're like, Alan. Like, they're like whispering, and it just freaks me the hell out. So with Alan, I feel like when I'm playing as Alan, I feel like I'm on edge constantly. I'm tense. I don't know what's around the corner. I don't know what's going on. I have no clue, and I'm trying to make it out and finish whatever objective it is, so I can feel safe again. That's just the way my mind works. It's just it's definitely more psychological. And with Saga, the scare is definitely more of like a jump scare, which I've done a couple of times while I've been playing the game. And finally, last game here, Spider-Man 2. Actually, I'm sorry, it's Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Yeah, I really feel like I don't need to say much about this game. It's great. It's probably one of the best superhero games that I've ever played. I think it's better than the first game, and I also think it's better than Miles Morales. I will say, if you didn't already know, for some strange reason, you do play as the two different Spider-Men. You got Peter Parker and you got Miles Morales. I don't know. I think I'm not in the minority when I say I love playing as Miles Morales way more than Peter Parker. I don't know. Miles just has way more swag than Peter. Feels like he moves faster, jumps higher. You know how that works. But yeah, it's really good. I love the story in this game, which, I mean, I didn't think that was going to happen, right? It's a superhero game, but story's really good. And just like the side missions, it's so weird. The side missions, I played all of them, but two of them just kind of like touched my heart. And I'm not even gonna lie, again, this is a superhero game, so I wasn't expecting it. But two of those side missions like touched my heart for real. Combat's on point, and you guys know what the deal is. Insomniac knows what's up. They know what they're doing when it comes to these types of games. Highly recommend it if you haven't for some reason already played Spider-Man 2. I still haven't finished it. I'm about 80% done with the game, and then I gotta go in and mop up the rest of the trophies because I definitely want to get the platinum in this one. Guys, let me know what you picked up over these past couple of months, especially in October. My gosh, October, there were a bunch of games that dropped in October. Let me know what you picked up. Let me know what you've been enjoying. I want to thank all of you for watching this video, and I'll check you next time. Peace.